And I've had incidences where light bulbs unscrew by themselves from the ceiling. Not all the way to where they drop, but just enough where they lose contact. And also I had strange voices coming from little tiny speakers that sound like they're coming from the ceiling. As a matter of fact, that particular incident happened on the New Year's Eve night of 1981. And I heard this. A friend of mine was sitting in a chair, and I thought it was a long gurgle in his intestine. And I thought, was that you? And he says, no. And it's because it sounded right over there, right over him, because I could tell it was on the ceiling. But he heard it in another direction. He heard it move while it was moving real fast, and I just heard it at one instant. And seen some visual things there, like black fins in the mirror, in the reflection of the mirror. We've both seen that out of the corner of our eye.
What? Seen what?
Black fins. They move real fast, and usually in a reflection of a mirror. Me and a friend, I'd be sitting in a chair, sitting aside of a mirror in the kitchen, and a fin would come, and I'd look over there while we were talking, and it'd be gone. I keep seeing it, and I thought it was my eyes. And then after a while, we'd get up to get a beer or get up, and somehow we'd switch our seats without even planning anything. And he'd start looking over there, and he'd start seeing fins, of course, you know.
Fins? You mean like shark fins?
Just like fish fins, shark fins, any kind of a fin, just a black thing that moves really fast.
Have you seen anything, Dan? How many different people have seen stuff?
Well, I have one friend that was over there. However, this particular person is a very unusual person, and I think a lot of the stuff might, even though I think there is something there, I think a lot of it happens to do with him.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's lived in a strange place where all these things have happened, and he's a really hyper person. And at one time, I'll admit, I was playing pool, and I made this shot, and he wanted the 2-ball to go in, and I swear that I saw that 2 move in another direction right before it went into the pocket. So I'm thinking that maybe he has some kind of a psychic kinetic energy, and this energy goes in all kinds of weird places without him knowing it, and he has no control over it.
John Jansen will now tell us how the pool ball did that.
Oh, good.
John Jansen is our pool
Well,
ball
I have to know, first of all, did the 2-ball move after it was hit and it was heading in a direction? Did it move then? Or did it move to get in the way of the ball? You mean it moved as it was traveling?
Yeah, it moved in the direction it was going, but it looked like it went another angle or moved slightly so it would go inside of the pocket. What revealed the noises that you actually have heard there? You said you heard a bang on a pipe, and then you heard thumps or something?
Pipe banging, thumps, and it always seems like somebody's breaking in downstairs for some reason.
Yeah, I noticed that, especially when I'm home by myself. For a while there, during the summertime, I would be up in that room. That room is furthest away from the back door, and the front door is not usable because I had a break in 1980. And when I was upstairs, I'd always have to come downstairs because I hear things moving downstairs and thumps, and there would be absolutely nobody there. And one day I realized I'd probably give up checking, and somebody would actually be in the house.
Could be.
It's just about everybody that goes in the house feels kind of
funny.
And if you're upstairs, it's weird. It just seems like there's intruders.
Well, let me ask.
Well, I've noticed that that this certain particular thing that we're talking about happens more often in the wintertime, and I continually try to find the things that they do to try to comprehend how they react with everything around and what they respond to and what they like to do. And I notice they like to draw fear. They like to. The reason they like the winter so much is because everybody is working to get heat all the time, and they can just grasp the heat out of the air, and somehow they find a way to use this heat for energy and become more powerful. First, the summer they have all the power in the world, but they never use it because they.
There's a terrifying giant black spider that lives in Mark's walls also.
Yeah. I've also gone to had experience at graveyards with tape recorders.
Oh yeah, I've heard that works, but then
I did it twice and it worked every time. Both times. The first time.
different graveyards.
Yeah, different graveyards.
Only went twice.
Yeah.
What'd you hear?
Well, first time we were at this graveyard, so this place over on McKenzie and Watkins at the corner. It's right up from Liberty Market, if you know where that's at. Anyway, we were in the middle of this big graveyard, and there was like no highways around except for this one highway that was like 1,000 yards away, and one back of us 500 yards away. And we got away from the tape recorder and did our talking and stuff, so it wouldn't pick it up, and we brought it back, and we heard this like machines that were running at high speeds, like in the middle of the day, and some sound like a sidewalk drill going into the sidewalk, and like planes going over. It's not like we were out there in the middle of downtown or something, and this one machine just went and heard some kind of. I heard something that sounded like, huh?
How did it go again?
It was like a machine that went like that. It almost like a song. And what else happened? Oh yeah, I think at one time we were walking, I think I laughed, but it came out on the tape recorder like a really strange laugh, like it wasn't really me laughing. And I don't know whether I was laughing at the time or not. It was too long ago to remember. The other time I went to the graveyard, I had some physical thing happen to me while I was there. Not much came out on the tape. I had to listen a whole 45 minutes out of a tape, and all we got is like, but we did get something, was like a scream, like in a reverb background, way the hell away, and it was just like in another dimension. It went. And it did that like 3/8 of the tape way through. And
sure it wasn't a siren?
No, there was no sound. This is in the middle of the morning. This is that graveyard of Gravois, and there's a lot of graveyards around there. It's one of those, and this is at a graveyard where the highway was kind of small and there weren't any cars and tape recorders in the middle of this graveyard and nowhere. We got that same thing twice on 2 different occasions of the tape. So, oh yeah, the physical thing that happened to me that I was going to express was we left the tape recorder and went to the car for a long time. We marked the grave so we'd know where the tape recorder was. We came back and I said, well, we got a little tape left, why don't we try this grave here, this tomb here. So I set it on top of this cross tomb. It was about this big, and all of a sudden I felt this water splashing in my eye, and I put my finger in it right away, and there was no water there at all, and yet it felt exactly like water feels, cool, that really feeling of water, and there was nothing there. So it's really interesting. I find it very fascinating that I actually have been able to go to a graveyard twice and have been successful both times. What are your views about all of this, Steve?
Sleep.
Do you believe in this?
What do you say we wrap it up?
I think so.
No?
I'm ready for sleep.
Good. We can sleep and I'll have nightmares. And one of us,
Yeah.
we can plant the camera sideways and by somebody's head. As somebody does like this against the camera, his thoughts are going to the camera right away.